Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A very, I don't want to say concerning, but very tricky situation here. Because you have war, you have religion, you have people, you have beliefs, you have passions, and you have the security services. What can go wrong? This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from November 13th, 2022. Security Service of Ukraine investigates prayers for Russia at Kiev's Monastery of the Caves. Read again. Security Services of Ukraine investigates prayers for Russia at Kiev's Monastery of the Caves. On day 262 of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, prayers were said for Russia at the Kiev Pechersk Lavra Monastery of the Caves. Vasil Malyuk, the head of the Security Services of Ukraine SSU, reported that the evidence is already being studied by the SSU. Source: Mikhailo Omelian, a priest of the Orthodox Church of Ukraine. On Facebook, Malyuk cited by the Security Service of Ukraine. And I'm quoting, "Our defenders of the motherland are sacrificing their lives to defend the state and its people, while the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, which is supposedly not a part of the Moscow Patriarchate, has betrayed Ukraine and is trying to wash off the blood by providing humanitarian, quote-unquote, help, is still praying for Russia." Details: Omelian posted a video which shows a congregation in the Kiev Pechersk Lavra singing a song glorifying Russia. And I'm quoting, "Bells ring out over Russia, Mother Russia is awakening." The Security Service of Ukraine has assured the public that it is analyzing all the details of the incident and promised that the situation would be dealt with. Quote, "People who are waiting for Mother Russia to wake up when there is a full-scale war going on which Russia started against Ukraine have to bear in mind that this undermines the security and interests of Ukraine and its citizens. We will not allow such activity." Okay, so let's say this country here, United States of America, gets into a war with, let's say, Mexico, God forbid. As you probably know, Mexico has a big, United States has a big, it's a, how should I say it, big minority, a big number of Latinos, Mexicans, and so on, who might feel a certain kind of allegiance for their, connationals, or people who, they love over there. They feel a connection. Now, obviously, if you're here, that means you are part of the United States of America and you should support this country. But let's say they do what this guy said, that Mexico will awaken and the bells of whatever will start ringing. What should you do with that population? You got some big number of those kind of people. Are you going to investigate that little thing? Now imagine that, for instance, the United States get in a scuffle with, let's say, Israel. It will never happen, but I'm just saying. What would you do with those guys? If they all of a sudden start singing in their synagogues, something like that. What if you have, I don't know, Romanians doing that? Or, I don't know, Russians here doing that? What are you going to do about it? And you're at war with Russia. You see, that means diversity is not our strength all of a sudden. because if you wouldn't have those kind of, or you limit the diversity in that kind of department, and I'm not saying, oh, you should not have a diverse society. Diversity in thought and ideas. Yeah, that's always good. I don't plan on having or being the goal of a diversity in, I don't know, in eye color or on nail length or shoe size. You know what I mean? That's unimportant. What's important is diversity here. And I don't know if here, but once you are in one state and one country, you are supposed to, support that and have allegiance to that country. There are you in. The problem here is these guys were not immigrants, like moi. These guys are born over there, were from there, and who knows their generations, but they are of genetic makeup and culture probably, and I'm assuming traditions, Russian. So what should they do? Keep their mouth shut? And then you say, well, it's the freedom to worship. Well, that's not worshiping, isn't it? Don't get me wrong. It's a very tricky situation, and it happens in the place of worship. If people pray for whatever they pray, I think that's their prerogative. I can pray that, I don't know, whatever I want. I can have that feeling. Should you express it out loud in this kind of circumstances? Probably not. It's not, your country that you belong to, right, is fighting the other guys that you have a genetic and cultural, affinity. But if this undermines the cohesion of the society during a war, that might be a problem. Here, what those guys said, and what the Russian awakening and bells rings, I don't know what to say about that, I mean, if you're so sensitive to that one, bells ring over Russia, Mother Russia is awakening. Could be, I mean, now this guy, the quote of the priest, he was on Facebook. So this Mikhailo Omelian, a priest of the Orthodox Church of Ukraine, on Facebook, right, quoted that, our defenders, blah, 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 blah. That's a different story. But this guy's Omelian posted a video which shows a congregation in Kiev singing this: bells ring out over Russia, Mother Russia is awakening. You know what I mean? It's not it's not desirable at this time to say that, obviously, not popular, but it could be awakening culturally. Like, for instance, considering that a man and a woman, the family is this, certain kind of values that oppose the whatever perversion they see in the West occurring. So then, yes, the country, I don't know the interpretation, could be because of the war, is awakening out of what? I think it defends, could be interpreted in many ways. Now, if you want to interpret it as hailing Russia for blowing up Ukrainian citizens, I don't think that's right. But if you take it as a cultural thing, which I don't know the context, they don't provide a context. They provide me the priest who said those things on Facebook. That's his thing. He can do whatever, right? Freedom of speech, right? Now, is that okay? Again, that's his prerogative, and you are at war. So your freedom of speech is even more limited than and it's also a martial law instituted. Under martial law, you can be taken out and, you know what I mean, taken care of. There were some concerning incidents also occurring in Ukraine. One, a church was set on fire, an Orthodox church was set on fire, allegedly with Russian, how do you call them, supporters, fighters, something like that, on the front line I'm talking, not in Kiev or anything. Supposedly, the Russians took refuge in the church, and this church was set on fire. Now, I don't know if that was okay. Another thing, is another thing. Was a priest, a Russian priest who used to be in the front lines, and he I think is that priest who said that, well, mothers should send the kids, have more children so they can defend the motherland, and if you have more kids, you will suffer less if they perish in a war, something like that. And he was, oh my God, what's that? Well, there is a reason why we save the women and the children in any kind of circumstance, and the men are perishing, because you need a man to impregnate 3,000 women, and the kids you need for the next generation to do what? To build a society and defend the country. So this guy was not very off on his, and I don't say he was off whatsoever. He was just made it, well, more children, you're going to suffer less. Well, I don't think so. You're going to suffer for each child equally. You're not going to, oh my God, I have 10 kids. That means I can lose like 3. It's not like that. But anyway, that guy was killed, was blown up in the front lines. So, well, that's he didn't care to ride a Pope machine. Pope, how do you call it? Mobile, the one with the glass that is, you know, against being shot or anything. He was not afraid to go and do his job and go around people on the front lines, unlike the Pope or others who stay home, and when they travel with security and all that, being afraid to meet Jesus after all. So it's very strange, that guy or the Pope. And I'm making the Pope because he's the easiest target right now. I mean, because whenever he travels with that Pope mobile and so on, because he's afraid to be shot. Are you? I mean, really, I'm not a religious person, but when time comes, what are you going to do? And besides, you are, you know, it's just, for me, really? Why don't you have a bullet-proof vest too, Pope, and a helmet when you go and preach in St. Peter's Basilica? Anyway, all right, so it's very tricky, the situation. I think they should keep maybe their mouth shut. You can feel however you want. I don't think you should speak it out this time, or in the near future as well for some time, because these guys investigate you, and you might have people who are going to show up and just beat you up, or I don't know what the security services will do, if you know what I mean. They will investigate. What if they say, yeah, man, I'm praying for Russia, this and that? What are you going to do? Put them in prison because they promoted the interest of the enemy? Could be. And prison would be something that would be, I don't know, maybe better than other options. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.